If you like the idea of a trawler style yacht, but you don't want something that looks too classic or too traditional, well, Outer Reef Trident range could be for you. It's got a lot of those trawler benefits, but it's a bit more contemporary, a bit softer, a bit more curvaceous, a bit more modern inside as well. It also happens to have one of the best engine rooms that I've seen on a boat of this size. So let's have a full tour, shall we? I'm Jack Haines. Welcome to YachtBuyer. Let's start down here at the waterline. Underneath my feet is the hydraulic bathing platform. This is also where the tender is stowed. You can see the plastic chocks mounted in the deck and the vents as well, so the water can pour through when the platform goes down. You've got this nice pole here to help you out the water when the platform is down. It's also quite useful when the platform's up and you're stepping on from the stern like we are now. You can just brace yourself on that upright there. There is also a ladder down here that you can access from the water. Always very important to have that, of course. Excellent engine room access on board the Trident. We're going to have a proper look around the machinery space later on, so stick around for that if you like your engineering. But for now, let's stay on deck and head up to the cockpit, which doesn't feel enormous for a boat of this length. They've really put a lot of emphasis on space inside the saloon. There's a big benefit to that, of course, but it does mean this space here isn't enormous. However, the way that they've joined these two areas with the way this window opens and the way the door pushes open does work very well, and we'll talk a bit more about the interior layout later on. This cockpit formation is really quite simple. The U-shaped seating, the table that goes up and down. The table's a decent size and it's not huge, but there is space this side if you want to put a couple more chairs here so two more people can dine. There's a sink over there, and it's worth pointing out as well that you've got full covers that can close this area, so you can extend this into living space even when the weather isn't so good. And nice to see boarding gates on both sides as well, so if you're side two, it's very easy to get on and off the boat. Let's head forward. It may be a more modern take on the trawler, but it still has some good traditional trawler stuff going on, like having the covered side decks that give you a good amount of protection as you walk forward. Nice tall bulwarks, good guardrails, big chunky cleats dotted along the top sides as well, and the sides. I always like to see that. Helps with the flow through the boat, and it means that the person at the helm can easily get onto the decks to help with crewing. For say a two-person crew to easily be able to move around is very important, and storage is important as well, and deck storage is good on board the Trident. Up here, for example, you have these two big deck lockers, big enough as you can see to swallow a ball fender, lines, hoses. There's some more fenders tucked down there, and you've got them on both sides as well. So these alone will swallow a lot of the kit that you need to run the boat on deck. It's quite a simple arrangement here on the foredeck, just a slab of sun pad, though the backrest does lift up, so you can be a little bit more comfortable if you don't want to lie completely flat. But it's a useful piece of additional sunbathing space on top of what is offered on the Flybridge, which is where we're going to head next. And then we're onto the Flybridge, and one of the benefits of this trawler style design is having that big extension over the cockpit, so you get a huge amount of open space back there. It's not designed to hold a tender with a crane like it is on the classic range. It's just big open space for you to do with what you want. But there's a wet bar down here which you can option with a grill if you'd like, and there's cooling space down there, storage, sink, the usual sort of stuff. And this is a nice space. It works well when the boat's stationary if guests want to dine up here, but it's also a nice place for people to sit when the boat is moving along. And incidentally, if you want to do things like the Great Loop or take the boat through the waterways of Europe, there is an option to have this hardtop that drops down to seat level. So if you've got lower air draft, you can make it significantly lower if you're doing that sort of cruising. How about the Helm Station? Well, this is nice. Double stid helm seat, which is very comfortable, nice big footrest, commanding driving position. You sit nice and high, and you're quite a long way forward as well, so the view is very good. The Helm Station is quite simple, quite plain, much more going on downstairs. We'll see that in a moment, but as a secondary place to drive the boat from in good weather, it works perfectly well. Right, talking of the lower helm, let's head downstairs. If you like what you're watching, why not subscribe to the YachtBuyer channel? That way you'll never miss a new video every time we upload one. Hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a fresh one. Right, let's go on with the tour. But welcome inside. I think this is where things get quite interesting on board the Trident. First of all, they've got this quite cool window arrangement. Nothing new, but just works really well, having this window that pops up to create a bar area here. A proper bar area as well, because there are a couple of stools that pop out from beneath the counter, so you can take a seat and have your breakfast or a couple of beers and just chat with the person In the galley, that works very nicely. That door just opens normally, so if you just want to pop in and out, you can just easily get in and out through there. Quite a shallow sofa on this side. It's not particularly deep, but again, it's just sociable. You're probably going to sit here, have a chat with the people on the stools. Likewise, the person in the galley does work quite nicely. And I mean, the galley is such a feature of this interior. You can have an amidships galley, have it up there if you prefer, but I think pretty much everybody who spec one of these boats has gone for this. And I can see why, because not only is it very good for connecting to the cockpit, it's huge. This is a 63 foot boat, and there is a lot of counter space and a huge amount of storage. This entire area is full of drawers. Now, you haven't got domestic sized fridge freezer, but you have got some big fridges underneath the counter here. The same over on that side, and there's an ice maker too, and just lots and lots of storage underneath this area, and it feels very home from home. The fact the hob angled in this corner with the hood over the top here, you've got your dishwasher over on this side, nice big sink, big windows. It's very, very homely. There are a few level changes though. As you move forward, you can see there's a couple of steps up amidships, but the ceiling correspondingly rises too, so headroom is still very good throughout. For me, it's 6 foot tall. I've got plenty of space to move around in here, and this table drops down in the dinette, and that can create a day bed. You could use it as an extra berth if you want, but obviously it's opposite the television. This of course drops down into the counter when you're not using it, but then it pops up, and yeah, it's in a good position opposite the dinette here. And again, masses of storage underneath this counter space. Now, the downside of the galley being back there is if you're doing some long distance cruising, you're not right next to the galley. That's the benefit of having it amidships. If you're on passage, you can easily pop back from the helm into the galley, grab a drink, even make some food. Can't really do that so easily with the galley aft, but it's a small price to pay. Nice to have the central helm position as well. Like upstairs, you're a long way forward. The boat doesn't feel too large from here. When you look back, it stretches back a long way, but you feel like you're in good control from this helm. Twin MFDs. Then down here you've got a run of hard switches. This particular boat is fitted with Humphrey's trim system. That's interceptors and the fins, which work at 0 speed to stabilise the boat. And it's got a pair of Volvo Penta D8 600s for a top speed of about 21 knots, designed to cruise either really at 10 knots or 17 knots. That's where it's going to be most efficient with the cruising speed. And it's a shaft drive boat, it's on V drives, but you've got a joystick as well which connects to the thruster. You can use the thrusters, it's got a stern thruster as well. You can use those independently from the joystick if you want to, but it gives you a huge amount of flexibility when it comes to controlling the boat at slow speed. And as I said, it's an owner-run boat, so that's important, and that's where this side door comes in. We saw it from the outside, and you can see here that gives very good access onto the side decks from this central helm position. Right then, let's head downstairs. There's a nice gentle companionway down onto the lower deck. There are quite a few level changes down here, which we'll talk about in a moment, but we're going to start right forward in what is a very nice VIP cabin, all decked out in this satin walnut. There's loads of it up in the saloon, as you'll have seen. That continues down here. There's woodwork all over the place. It's also very bright. You've got the portholes that open here, but then at sort of head level, you've got these nice windows as well, so no issue with natural light. There isn't a hatch in the ceiling, but you have got plenty of good light coming in here. The bed is set quite high, but there are steps either side to make it a bit easier to get into. You've got a decent ensuite with a separate shower cubicle. It's well shaped as well, so there's a good amount of space in there, and storage, as with upstairs, is excellent. Hanging lockers, drawers, storage under the bed, very, very well put together. Let's carry on amidships. But this is where you feel the level changes. There were 3 quite big steps between the VIP and the owner's cabin. I'll just stop here because here on the port side you have a single berth cabin, but it has got its own ensuite, so privacy is pretty good. And in this passageway you've also got the washer dryer mounted in there. But the owner's cabin is absolutely lovely, and when you see the size of the engine room and the Lazzarette in a moment, you'll understand how impressive it is that they've fitted a cabin this large on board this boat. There's a huge amount of floor space and a big walk-in wardrobe over there, like genuine walk-in wardrobe. I can fit in there, no problem. I've talked about storage before. Masses over there in drawers and cupboards, and all grain matched walnut as well. The woodwork really is very, very nice. King size bed, much lower than forward, so it's easy to get in and out of, and you've got bedside tables, lighting, nice details in the bed head. Yeah, it's nicely done. Plus, you get the hull windows here with opening ports either side, which is always quite nice to see. And this is a clever bit of design. There is no door into the bathroom. This is all open to the cabin, but it makes it feel like it's part of the cabin. They've used mirrors above as well to bounce the natural light around. Again, you've got a nice strip of hull window here to get some natural light into this area. And yes, the sink is open to the cabin, but you have got separate compartments for the toilet and the shower, which I think works very well. Right, let's head aft and have a look at that machinery space. I keep talking about how easy this boat is to run as an owner, and well, the engine room access exemplifies that, because look at this massive great hatchback here in the transom, and it could not be easier to get down into the machinery space. This really is excellent access and space for a 60-footer. These D8 600s are actually raised up because it's on V-drives. It's also got the C-Torque insulated shaft system as well, which is supposed to completely deaden vibration and noise from the shaft. So they're higher up, yet you've still got plenty of space over them. It's a bit tricky to get to components outside the engines, like the generators, but certainly the engines themselves, very easy to look at and work on. It's a little bit untidy in places, but the engineering is very good. Things like having these twin fuel filters you can switch across if one gets blocked. You've got very good access to the fly-by-wire rudders as well, which are all part of the joystick system. That is all very easy to get to. You've also got a spot cleaning system for any water that comes on board, so you're hosing the boat down with filtered water. Auto reeling as well for the shore power cable just makes life a lot easier. It's a very well engineered space with a lot of big boat features as well. And if we head forward through that watertight door, there's a very good Lazzarette area. Through here then we have what is on this boat a Lazzarette utility space, but you can have this kitted out as a crew space if you prefer. Whatever you do, you get the bathroom, and that's quite useful, because if people want to come and have a pee or have a shower straight when they've come out the water, they can come through here rather than going into the boat. And obviously when there are crew down here, that's their bathroom. At the moment it's kitted out as a utility room, but you can have a single berth over there if you prefer. You've just got a bit of workspace over on this side. And I mentioned earlier on about access underneath the Flybridge steps down into this area. That's up there, which means you don't have to go to the back of the boat onto the transom when it's running along to get down into this space. And as I said, this is a huge space on the lower deck, but you've still got that big master cabin just forward of here, and this works as another layer of insulation between the engine room and the master cabin. Very clever bit of design. Thanks very much for watching that tour of the Outer Reef Trident. I'd be interested to know what you think of this one. Do you think this more modern take on the Trawler design works? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see a sea trial of one of this boat's rivals, the Azimuth Magellano 60, I'll put that in a box up there, put some more tours for you down here. And if you would like to subscribe, you can do that by clicking up here. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.